Good morning. We appear to be live. All is well. Hi, everybody. I'm Becky, and we are here today, we being Nikki and I, to talk to you about emotional intelligence, really. Emotional intelligence in business, emotional intelligence as a female founder, and how to harness that really to really bring power into your business and show up exactly how you want to show up. So I'm Becky. As I said, I'm an emotional authority mentor for women in business, which means I help both with the emotions and also the marketing to enable you to show up exactly how you want to show up without caring what anybody thinks, which is always nice. So Nikki, we've met in real life once. We've met online a couple of times, which is delightful. So let's hear from you, all about you, please.
Hello. Well, it's really lovely to be here with you today, and I'm really looking forward to talking about this subject. This is definitely something that I'm really passionate about. So I'm Nikki. I am a business coach, and I work mainly with female business owners, female founders, solo business owners to help them to create impactful and sustainable business growth without burnout. And I have been doing this since 2017, so quite a while now. And I specialize in emotional intelligence. I use a science-backed approach, and I kind of marry the internal world, so working on an individual person and marrying that with business strategy to help them to get the best results. But when we talk about results, it really is about helping them to get the results that work for them in a way that works for them. So it's not trying to shoehorn you into a strategy that might work for somebody else but doesn't work for your circumstances or your lifestyle. So we find the best route for you. I find the best route for my clients based on where they are and the goals that they want to achieve, and help them to get there in the shortest and easiest way possible.
Perfect. So you have two experts today to help you out. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the box and we'll either answer them at the time if it feels right, or we'll wait till the end. We'll see how we go on. We've just said that we haven't prepared very much today because it's something that we're both really passionate about, and we're like, we don't need to prepare. That's fine. So should we talk with because I think there's quite a lot of talk online at the moment about kind of women disconnecting from themselves in order to appear, professional, and how we should be polished online. What do you think about that, Nikki? What do you think about this? I don't want to call it a trend because it's not. Let's not make it become a trend.
Yeah, I think that what we try and do is we try and fit somebody else's version of success, or we try and mold ourselves into who we think we should be or what we think that we should be in order to achieve success. And you see this a lot in the corporate world, and I was definitely guilty of doing this when I was employed in the corporate world. But that was way before I even knew anything about kind of emotional intelligence and certainly personal development. But yeah, I think that it comes down to just wanting to, I think have a self-identity, or even it's not even your own identity, but it's just trying to conform to, say, someone else's ideals and standards. The problem with that is it's really hard to maintain, because essentially you're showing up as somebody who isn't yourself. So we basically have two different personality styles. We have who we are as a natural style, and we also have something called an adapted style. Now, that's who we are in a workplace. That's how we show up for work. Now, when those styles are vastly different, we are basically showing up as somebody who we aren't truly, we're not truly are. And that might be because we want to fit in, or we think that that's how we should be. But the problem with that is it could be really hard to sustain that, because you've essentially got two different personalities. You've got who you are naturally, who you naturally are when you wake up in the morning, and then you've got that person who you are when you put your work hat on. And if they're vastly different, then that might be really hard for you to kind of maintain that and keep that going over a long period of time. And actually, it might be quite confusing. Who are you really?
Yeah, I was going to say, and it's really exhausting as well, isn't it? Kind of maintaining kind of another, an alter ego, really. Yeah. I think that's what it is, isn't it, really? I mean, even this morning, before I've come on here, I've had an email from somebody that I recognized on Instagram, another successful mentor. And it's I did XYZ. Here's how I did it, steal my script. And it's literally, this is what we're bombarded with the entire time. It's I've done this. This is my way, follow me, and I'll show you how I've done it. And it's really easy to get sucked in, especially if that person online is appearing to have everything that you want to have. You're oh, well, all I need to do is just do what they're doing, and then I'll be fine. I'll be the same as them. But it doesn't work, does it?
Well, no, and the thing is, like, you can understand why people do this because they want a quick win, they want fast results. And humans, especially in this day and age, we are expedient by nature. Like, we want everything right now. Like, we don't want to put the work and the effort in, we want the results immediately. And so, you know, it's natural to chase those next sort of wins, those what we think are going to give us a quick win, because we want that dopamine hit. Like, we want to feel good, but you know, the problem is, like, a strategy can work for somebody, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you, because each of us are different. Like, we're all different personalities, we all have a different approach, we all have different circumstances going on in our life. So you can't just pick up one thing and expect it to work for you. And that's where people start to get frustrated, because they try something and it doesn't work. And then they jump to the next thing, and that might not work, or it doesn't give them the results that they want. And then they keep going, and they're constantly just trying to find this like magic pill. And they're seeing all these other people achieve these great levels of success with that thing. And then they start to get disheartened, and they start to like develop all this self-doubt because it's not working for them. So they start to tell themselves, well, like, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable. And it's nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It's just you've got to find your own path. You've got to carve out
exactly. Yeah, because so many times we don't have any context, do we, to what these people online are doing. Well, first of all, we don't know whether they are in fact a success, because we're just believing what they're saying. So they could be just, you know, complete bullshit. And also there's no context, like how big an audience do they have? What kind of audience do they have? Are they already engaged, or are they just starting out? You know, that can't be the generic advice, you know, just a blanket email, this is what you should do and you will become a success. So what's the answer then?
I think that what we have to do is bring it back to ourselves. And this is really where emotional intelligence comes in, is that it's about us being able to lead ourselves forward and trust in ourselves and be able to make decisions. So yes, we need the strategy and we need the ideas and we need the plans in place. But it's, again, and like I said before, it's about being able to carve your own path and have that trust in yourself, rather than getting distracted by like all of the shiny objects, or thinking that like, if I just do this, this is going to be this magic ticket, and like all I have to do is follow somebody's formula and I'm going to be a, you know, an overnight success, because we know that's not reality. But we fall for this. So when you bring it back to working on yourself first and foremost, you start to develop those internal skills, the resilience and the focus and the drive and the determination, all of these things that help us in business to move forward. And a lot of it is about self-trust. It's trusting in your decisions. And we know that not everything we do is going to turn out to be great. Like, we are going to fall flat on our faces so many times. But the fact that you are moving means that you're taking action and you get the opportunity to learn from that. But staying in your own lane definitely is what I would recommend, rather than trying to find a solution that might give you some short-term results, but it's not going to give you the longevity and the sustainability that really you want to have in business.
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, I am quite woo-woo, so I'm going to kind of say, like, but you're right, like trusting yourself and really taking the time to think, does this feel good? Does this feel good in my body? Or is my body contracting right now? And I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do this thing that this coach said I should do, you know, because that's a really clear signal, isn't it? That that's not right for you. So yeah, it's a case of really knowing yourself, but then also being able to call yourself out if you're maybe not doing something because you're worried about what people are going to think, or you're not doing something out of fear. So I think there's that balance, isn't there, between, yes, push yourself and do the things that you want to do to get yourself more visible, but then also, like, yeah, make sure you're aware you're not doing it from fear.
Yeah, that's it. And there's so much that goes into this, but really it's about getting curious, isn't it? And understanding yourself on a deep level. But you know what most people do? They ignore the signs. But our bodies, our minds and our bodies are so good at giving us clues. Like, they'll tell us emotionally, they'll tell us physically when something feels off. And we have that gut intuition, which is the most important thing that we have, is our gut instinct. And then most people ignore it. So they ignore those signs and they just keep going, and they'll do things that feel out of alignment, or, you know, they just don't feel right and they don't feel good, but they'll keep push and ignore the most basic instinct, which is your gut intuition. And then before you know it, there's all sorts of things going on mentally and physically.
Yeah, definitely. And then this all comes down to how we connect with our clients at the end of the day, or how we connect with our audience to become clients. Because I see it all the time, and I bang on about this all the time as well. People will be fucking sick of me because I'm always saying it. But it's like, you cannot attract your perfect clients to you. You know, those real dream clients, you're like, oh my God, I really want to work with you because it's going to be so much fun. And I know that I'm going to be able to really help you, like those kind of clients. We can't attract them if we're not being ourselves.
Yeah.
But you can magnetize them when you are being yourself. So it's a case of really digging deep. I'm like, right, okay, I can do this. I can like show up like in all of my weirdness, and people will still love me for it, right?
Yeah, well, this is it. Like, people are attracted to people that are like them. And when I look back over all of the clients that I've had, I'd say probably 95, if not 99% of my clients are very similar to me in my approach, my style. I work with like disc styles quite a lot, so I understand like myself, but I also know where my clients fall in terms of their personalities. And they're all very similar to me because like attracts like. So if you're trying to show up as somebody who you're not, then you're going to be attracting kind of the wrong people. And there could be a mismatch in personality styles there.
Yeah.
So whilst it'd be lovely because maybe you're attracting all these clients, there's going to be a clash at some point because, you know, I know that I can communicate with all different types of people, but I'm going to communicate best with the people that are like me, which is why I attract clients who are very much similar to me.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one, and I think when again coming back to that self-trust, when you have that ability where you can just show up as yourself unapologetically, like you are who you are, it just is just the best way to be, because you're not trying to like put on any airs and graces. You're not trying to be somebody that you're not. You can just literally be yourself, and for me, that's just one of the most comforting things that you can do.
Yeah, I agree. And the mask will slip at some point, right? And then it'll all come undone.
Well, you know, you touched on it earlier. Like, it's so flipping hard to maintain that persona of trying to be somebody that you're not, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really difficult, and you know, really hard to sustain that. So yeah, just show up as yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a lot better at it than I used to be, but I used to like have this whole internal dialogue in my head. Like, I'd have this really good idea for a post, and I'd be like, then I'd start second guessing myself, and I'd be like, right, oh, but is this like authoritative enough? Like, are people going to believe that I know what I'm talking about because I'm being a bit vulnerable here? Like, is this the way that I should be? You know, is this what a mentor does? And I'm just like, oh, honestly, just like the thoughts that go around in your head. And my advice for that would be like, just post the thing, thing, and the right people will find you, because they will be attracted to your message and your oddness, probably.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we're always, you know, we've all got that internal self-talk, we've all got that internal dialogue. And the thing is, it either helps you, well, you can either get closer towards your goals by working through that and replacing it with like, you know, a better self-talk, or it can actually just literally stop you in your tracks. And that's the thing. So you might have these things coming up for you, but being able to work through that and actually recognize it, like recognize what thoughts are you having, what kind of feelings are you having, what sort of behaviors are potentially getting in your way. These are the kind of things that can make the difference between whether you succeed or not in business. It's not about like chasing the next strategy. Yes, certain strategies are going to work when you find the right ones for you, but really it's all about what's going on inside of you. And actually 80% of our success is down to what is internal. Like 80%. That's huge. But you know what the great thing is? It's in your control. Because
absolutely.
Thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are the only three things in this world that you can control. And that is all inside of you.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? It really is quite overwhelming when you think about it, but it is a very powerful concept, you know, once you actually start to dig into it. I mean, I definitely did something that made me out of my comfort zone this week. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to practice what I preach. I'm going to do the thing that scares me. And I know what was going on inside. I was just like, I've been wanting to do a Facebook group, create a Facebook group for quite some time. Loads of people do it, obviously, but I think it's a lovely way to have people in your world, and then you get like quite a nice engaged community as well. I thought, right, Facebook, I'm just going to go for it. But then I really had these doubts. I was like, right, well, so-and-so from my school will see this if I just put this out publicly. And then, like, what about that person that I used to work with who I didn't really like? Like, they will probably see it as well. And I had this list of people. I was like, no, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. And alongside the group, I also, very brave, Nikki, very brave. I did a post and I was like, this is me. This is what I'm doing, because I had a pivot. I was a legal copywriter for quite some time, as well as helping women with their marketing. So for me, I've had quite a big change, but it was like a kind of reintroduction. This is what I'm doing now. If you know anybody that might be interested, just send them my way. Like this, just making myself visible. And that can be a really, really scary thing to do, especially in front of a whole audience of people that you've known for your entire life who might think of you as something else, right? But I've done it.
I love that. Well done on doing the thing. Very cool. Like, congratulations. Because you know what? Like we can spend so much time, can't we, thinking about doing the thing. And like, we write it down on our to-do list, and we might share the idea with someone else, and we get excited, and then it just sits there because we paralyze ourselves with these fears and the doubts, and then we're like, well, what if Joe blogs or somebody sees this thing? And it's just like, well, so what? Like, who cares? But it's crazy the things that actually go on inside our head that literally can stop us. So the fact that you did it and you did the thing, like, is amazing.
Did the thing. So yeah, very good, very good. And and I did a lot of deep dive and I did a lot of internalize, and I was like, the reason I'm not doing this is because I was afraid. I think I was afraid of the people that I used to know in different life, shall we say, you know, kind of almost going, oh, look at her, what's she doing now? She thinks a lot of herself, doesn't she? But I literally, like, I've got over myself. I literally don't care. Like, remember when, I mean, we're similar ages, right? I think I remember when, like, oh, she's up herself. Remember when that used to be like a real insult to somebody at school or something? Oh, she really loves herself, doesn't she? No, I'm like, so what? So what? Yeah, I do. And
yeah, I know. And I do think that the like tides are turning with that now, aren't they? Like, I do think that women are able to put themselves forward more and show up more unapologetically. But I tell you what is one of the worst things that I see online is women tearing other women down. Like, that just drives me insane. And I can never get my head around why it's mainly women that do that to other women. It just, I don't know, it's beyond me.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there, and I think it's interesting to think about. It's not about me, it's about her. It's like whatever I'm doing is triggering her into behaving in that way. So it's either that she's jealous or she's somehow got some self-esteem stuff going on, whatever it might be. It's not ever you. So yeah, it's worth remembering.
Exactly, and that's the thing, and we can bring this back to emotional intelligence, because one of the pillars of emotional intelligence is self-regulation. So, you know, when somebody is just going rah and like literally are being triggered by something, then that's something that's been brought up internally for them that hasn't been resolved. Like a thought, a feeling, there's something inside. Like I say, it's never about the other person, but it's triggered something within them. And this is really interesting. So once you get to work on yourself and work on your levels of emotional intelligence, so many areas of your life improve. Like, it's not just business, it's health, it's relationships, it's who you are as a person. And it's very interesting that when you start to discover more of this in yourself, you start to see it so much more in other people. Like, you start to see where people have low self-awareness. You start to see where people can't regulate their emotions. You start to see where people have poor social skills and poor communication skills.
Yeah.
And it's because they don't know anything different. They don't know a different way. But as soon as you know a different way, like, I can't stress this enough, but your life will change.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love getting triggered now, actually. I love it because I know that I have the skills to manage that. I know that I have enough self-awareness to go, right, Becky, what's going on here? What is this something? This is obviously something we need to look at. I'll journal the fuck out of it. Like, it will just be like, it will be a thing, and I will resolve it. And then once I've done that, it's almost like, right, that's another block cleared out the way. That's another thing that was perhaps stopping me from being my whole self. So brilliant. Okay, I'm glad that I was triggered by that, and that's really helped me. So yay for that.
Exactly, and that's it. It's all information. Like, we're presented with information all the time, but like we were saying earlier, you either choose to ignore it, which a lot of people do, Or
Yeah.
you choose to get curious and go, well, this is telling me something here. What do I need to dissolve? Well, what do I need to do so I can move forward? And we've always got layers to work through. And like, there's a really good saying that's like, new level, new devil. So every time you get to the next level, every time you get to the next goal, there's going to be something's going to come up for resolution. Like something's going to come up inside of you that you've got to work through, and you can clear that, and then you can, keep moving forwards. And if you can do that, then that is going to give you that much better quality of life, more fulfillment, more happiness, more peace, whatever it is you're looking for.
Yeah, and also the resilience too, like that's all the things that we want, absolutely. But when you're a woman in business and you're on your own, you potentially don't have any support around you within your business. I'm not talking about your personal life. Like, it can be really bloody hard showing up every day and putting your makeup on, getting in front of a camera, doing some social posts, whatever it might be. It's all visibility, it's all vulnerability as well. So I think the more we work on ourselves and the more we understand ourselves, the more resilient we can become, and we need that in business, because we will have curveballs coming at us from all the places.
All the flipping time. And I always say to people, like, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm not trying to pretend this is going to be all unicorns and rainbows. Like, I have loads of stuff going on in my life, and everybody does. Like, we all have things that we're facing, like, daily. And we do need to have high levels of resilience. We need to have determination. We need to have motivation, because life is tough and we're going to have challenges, and sometimes it's bloody hard to get out of bed in the morning and like do the thing that you need to do. And often having things that are important to you, that drive you, helps with that, because you need a reason, like you need a purpose to keep going, even when times are tough. Because even when you work on your levels of emotional intelligence, this is not about saying, right, nothing bad's ever going to happen. You're never going to get a challenge ever again. Like, life's going to be amazing from now on in. It's not about that. But what it does do is it gives you the skills to bounce back from these things faster and easier. So you might get a setback or not back, but you've got the emotional resilience to be able to lead yourself through it. So you might find yourself in a bit of a mental rut for a day, but think back to the past. Maybe you found yourself like that thing that happened could have sent you in a spiral for a whole week, but now you can move past it in a few hours. That's the difference. Like, it's having that, those tools of being able to equip yourself to get through the challenges. Because, like, honestly, life is going to throw its curveballs. And you know what? We are faced with so much information now, aren't we? Like, there's a, something that says, like, now as humans, we make more decisions in a year than our grandparents did in the whole of their lifetime.
What? I have not heard this before. That is wild.
It is. So we live in the age of technology. So we're presented with stuff, like we're bombarded with information. We never get a break from that. We're consuming all the time. So with that comes a whole new set of like challenges and things that we have to navigate. And by learning like emotional resilience skills, it's going to help us to navigate these challenges, and all of the new things that come with the fast pace that the world is going at the moment.
So maybe we should actually talk about this. So do you have any specific tips or skills that you draw on in terms of like the crazy amount of consumption that we have?
I mean, some people say that you should put out more content than you consume. I think the thing is, I think you've got to have control and you've got to have boundaries. For me, that's what's most important. Is if you find that you're getting sucked into like social media and you're scrolling and you're looking at things and you're being triggered, and then it's like sucking hours out of your day and you feel really bad about it, then you've got to have that level of control and boundaries in place to go, but this is not good for me. Like, this is not a good use of my time. And I always say to my clients, like, what is the best use of your time right at this moment in time? Like, is what you're doing right now getting you closer to where you want to be in terms of creating your dream life, or is it taking you further away? Because everything you do is getting you closer or it's taking you further away.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you can answer those questions, so if you're doing something that feels horrible, if you're online and it's like making you feel icky, or you know that you're consuming content that doesn't make you feel good, like make a different decision about what you're consuming. You know, like I haven't watched the news for years, for example, because and most entrepreneurs are like that, aren't they? Like, you know, you realise the things that affect you. So yeah, I think it's being really mindful about your time, your capacity, what you allow into your personal space, and having boundaries. And focus, if you can focus most of your time on working on your dream life, like what you want to create, then you really can't go far wrong with that. Even if it's one thing a day that you do to move you in the direction of your goals, like that time spent on that is always going to outweigh anything else like negative that you might want to consume.
Yeah, and I do have quite a few boundaries in place with that, so which I failed at yesterday. Let's just say yesterday was a day where I was doom scrolling in bed.
You are human. Like, I also,
you know what? I found myself doing it, and I was like laying in bed. I was like, oh gosh, I was like, we didn't feel very good. Like, feel just really like. I was like, right, I need to get up. I was like, I need to get in amongst some trees. So I was like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to drive and I'm going to take the dog for a walk in the lovely forest near me. That's what I'm going to do. And that was great. And that literally just turned everything around. But typically, I will not be on social media in the morning, at least until I'm like sat down at my desk, because it's just like all this extra stuff you just don't need at all.
Well, no, because like then you start comparing yourself, don't you? So you start doubting yourself and questioning yourself, because you look at somebody else and you go, oh, she's doing that thing, maybe I should be doing that, or I want to talk about that thing, but that person's already said it, so now I can't say it. And it's like you start to doubt your own ideas, and it's like, this is ridiculous. Like, and it happens to us all. Like we all go through these same sort of thought processes, but yeah, I think being very mindful about what you consume and how it's making you feel ultimately. And like I said, we're all human. Like, I doom scroll sometimes. I have a habit of like, sometimes I'll just sit there and I'll just like flick through the, the shorts, and I'm like, it's crazy how much time you can waste. Like,
I know,
being so mindless.
I was called out on that the other day actually, because I was on TikTok, and I don't use TikTok. I've just got on it for my business. So I'm creating videos and stuff, and I did find myself in a bit of a kind of like and my husband came home and I was like, oh my God, this really funny video. I'm gonna show you this and this. And he was like, how long have you been on TikTok? Because I was like going through like 5 videos that I found and saved that I thought were really funny. And he's like, really the best use of your time. And I was like, you know what, it really isn't. It really isn't. Thanks for like bringing that up, because like, what have I been doing this whole time? I don't think this is moving me towards my dream.
No, and like, don't get me wrong, like if you've got a spare half an hour and you're just chilling and it's not impacting any other area of your life, then whatever. But I think, like we've been talking about this whole way through, it really is like, how do you want to feel? How is something making you feel? What are these sort of actions that you can take that level of responsibility, put boundaries in place? These are all things that are going to help you. And it really does not need to be perfect. Like, this is not about striving for perfection. This is just about thinking, okay, well, if I improve like by just 1% every day, if I just do something different today that I didn't do yesterday, like they're the kind of things that keep you moving forward. Recognizing some patterns that maybe you want to stop, or habits that aren't serving you. And just thinking about those little changes, like what are the small things that you can do every single day that just keep making these consistent 1% improvements and changes. Like, they're the things that really make an impact, not the big, massive, giant leaps that you take like every 6 months. it's
Yeah, it really is. We've been chatting for nearly half an hour now. Goodness me, we probably need to wrap up fairly soon. But I wanted to pick your brains actually on this one thing, which we haven't discussed off air, so who knows what will happen. We just reminded me, because Sarah, who I met yesterday online, has just said, hey, so she's obviously watching. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for supporting us on this one. We had a really interesting chat yesterday, and we talked about emotional intelligence a lot, but it was also, I was having a little rant on Instagram about this. So I did a video and I was like, is it just me, or is there seem to be a culture right now within the mentorship and coaching space of this kind of like one way dialogue, this one-way transmission. You know, there's a lot of broadcast channels now where there's Telegram, there's within Instagram as well, where coaches can literally just riff, but then there's no feedback, there's nothing back at all, there's no like, how is this landing with you, is there anything that you want to add to this, you know, that kind of like human connection.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether have you noticed this at all, because it seems to be really obvious at the moment.
Yeah, I absolutely have noticed it, and I do not subscribe to that in any way, shape, or form. You know, I am a coach first and foremost, and I've been a coach, you know, for 8-9 years now. And part of coaching is that it's about building relationships, but also you've got to get to know the other person on a deep level. It's not just about me like spouting stuff at you, not talking at you, like, you know. And so I think that it's got to be a two-way thing. So yeah, for me, I don't kind of subscribe into that whole thing of like, come along to my broadcast channel and I'm just there to like, you know, educate or teach or, you know, shout about how amazing I am. Like, for me, that doesn't work as a style. Like, I am very much about working with individual people. Like, when you come and work with me, if it's like, say it's in a group situation, you're not going to be in a group with hundreds of people. You're going to be in really small, intimate groups. And that's how I like to work, because I like everybody to feel like they have that connection to me, whether we work privately or whether we're in a small group. So I don't want to put people in groups of hundreds and thousands, because you can never get your voice heard. And I can't get to know you. I can't get to know your business. But I think people are doing it because they want a platform and they want to be able to share. And so they want lots of people in a room together. But then, like you said, there's no feedback. So then they're not getting anything. Like, it's not a kind of an open loop. It's just you talking at people.
Yeah. Exactly. And that really, to me, that I might be being too harsh here, but for me, instantly that makes me think that person doesn't care about me. That person isn't interested in my opinions. They're just interested in what they have to say. And it's like, this is what I've got to say, see you later, bye, and you're off. I don't think, it doesn't sit well with me. So yeah.
No, it doesn't with me. I got invited to somebody's Telegram space recently, and it was as a marketing expert, and I thought, oh, this sounds nice. Like, I'm, you know, happy to be open to that. I'll come into your space. But it was a one-way broadcast. So I left, because it's like, I want to be having conversations. I don't expect you to coach or mentor me in a free space, but I'd like, you know, it's nice to have a platform where we can have like, you know, I can ask a question, or I can see what other people are saying and have a bit of an open dialogue. So for me, the format just doesn't work. So yeah, I don't sort of engage or subscribe to that personally.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's not going to continue for too much longer, because it's well, yeah, I say that. I don't know, it may well do, but yeah, I just need to avoid those spaces, I think.
I think as well, like, you know, when social media, when the channels announce like a new feature, and then everybody jumps onto it. So for example, like with Instagram, and you know, you've now got those broadcasts on there. It's like everyone now jumps to that, because they're like, oh, it's a new shiny object, and it's a way that I can get like thousands of people in one group, and I can be sharing with all these people that want to know what I'm talking about. Yeah, like, I see like why you're doing it, but it's like I say, I think that the social media channels sort of dictate the trends sometimes. But I think so. But I think that brings us really nicely actually round almost full circle, because it's all about, you know, using your emotional intelligence, using your discernment, and go, does this feel right to me? Do I want to be in, whether it's a free group or a paid group, you know, it doesn't actually make any difference. You still have that time investment. You still have that energy investment. It's somewhere where you've chosen to put a part of yourself, and you are consuming, and whether you feel like it or not, you are consuming, and that will have an impact on you. So yeah, use your discernment, I would say, and just go, if that's right for you, absolutely fine, no judgment. But if it's not, then don't do it. Yeah, exactly. Which again brings it back to that whole self-trust, doesn't it? And leading in your own lane, and actually, you know, being the leader in your space, and being the leader of yourself in your own life. And when you do that, it doesn't matter what other people are doing, because you know that what you're doing is right for you.
Yeah, precisely. Oh, love this conversation. I feel like we could go on forever. We probably shouldn't.
I know we shouldn't, but I could actually talk to you for hours and hours and hours on this. But I won't talk anymore.
Maybe we should do a part 2. Let's do a part 2. I had lovely comments say super relevant combo. Enjoying this very much. So thank you. Lovely. Enjoyed it as much as we have. So fantastic. So let's just wrap up, Nikki, with where people can find you if they want to work with you, and also what does working with you look like at the moment?
Okay, so I am on LinkedIn. So I'm Nikki Masson. Masson is spelled Masson. Everybody calls me Mason, but I'm a Masson. I'm also on over on Instagram. I'm Nikki Masson Global. So please do just come and connect. I always love to get to know people and make some new connections. Working with me looks like you can work with me privately. So I have some private coaching spaces, which are kind of all-in coaching and mentorship packages. Right down to accountability spaces, which is soft accountability to keep you on track with your goals and the things that are important to you. So I would say let's connect. And then if you feel that the time is right and you want to have a conversation at any point, my door's always open and you can explore what that might look like to work together.
Oh, perfect. And likewise, I love connecting with new people. Chances are I will probably invite you onto a LinkedIn Live if I like you. So, that will probably happen. Funnily enough, we did. Nikki and I obviously done this one. And Sarah and I've got one booked for another week. So it's like, when you can kind of bounce ideas off each other and stuff, you're like, yeah, we can have a conversation online. That would be very cool. So for me, it's 1-to-1 at the moment. There will be a group space coming, but I don't know how that's going to look yet. So yeah, 1-to-1 is working with me. And I do a combination of Zoom calls and also Telegram support in between. I am actually, and I think I might be a little bit too late here. When does school holidays start? Because I have a 16-year-old who's finished her GCSE, so I don't actually know when the school finishes. Is it this week or next week?
It's for us, because I'm in Leicestershire, so we actually broke up this week. So my oldest broke up yesterday, and my youngest broke up today. So we are quite early, like ahead of the UK. I think some are this Friday, some are next Friday, and some might even be the Friday after. So it's like staggered.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Because I was thinking of kind of like just pulling together just a really last minute offer to help those, school mums who might be thinking, I'm running my business. I've got 6 weeks ahead of me now. Obviously, kind of that juggle we all have. So maybe there's some kind of like, support that I could offer interim. So if that sounds good, let me know and I will pull something together. It's half formulated in my mind. The rest of it needs to drop in. And thank you, Mary. She also said she's really enjoyed this. Thank you, ladies. Lovely. There will be a replay. We will get that up. Thanks ever so much. Thanks, Nikki. What a delight this has been.
It's been really, really lovely. I'm so glad that we had this conversation. I think it's so important that we do share this conversation and that people get to hear it. And let's do a part 2.
Yeah, let's. Right. Over and out. Ending stream. Catch you later next time.